This video is of the historic Old North Bridge in Concord, Massachusetts. You first arrive at the Visitor's Center at the top of the hill. And this is inside the Visitor's Center. There's many things to buy. And they show a video in one of the back rooms. They also have a model of Concord and Lexington where the revolution started. And now we're stepping out of the Visitor Center and we're going to start walking down the hill to the North Bridge. First, we're going to walk through an English-style garden that overlooks the North Bridge from atop a hill. This is the side where we are now that the American militia were, otherwise known as the Minutemen. The Minutemen were everyday citizens that were ready to march at a minute's warning. There's the North Bridge. And the British soldiers were professionals serving the king. And on April 19th, 1775, which is now Patriots' Day in Massachusetts, the American Revolution started. The night before, Paul Revere, along with two others, rode out from Boston to warn the Minutemen of the British Army coming. The British were coming to try to get the Americans weapons and cannons. But Paul Revere was captured, and then there was a battle in Lexington. Another rider made it out to Concord, and then the Minutemen in Concord were able to move some of their weaponry. This is a statue of a Minuteman, and it was made by Daniel French. He also made the Lincoln Memorial in Washington. And so when the Minutemen in Concord heard about the British coming, they tried to get as many other Minutemen to come to the North Bridge and other common people like farmers and merchants and just anyone they could get. And at 9:30 a.m. at the North Bridge, the American Revolution began when British soldiers fired and killed two colonials. And the Minutemen fired back, and that was known as the shot heard around the world. There were 400 colonial Minutemen against 700 British professional soldiers, and the British retreated from North Bridge and back into Boston because of what the Minutemen did. This is a grave of the 3 British soldiers that were killed at the North Bridge. This is an actor playing a British soldier. And the Concord River, you can see there's some kayakers out today. That's the hill that the British would have come down to the North Bridge. And this on the left of me, and looking up at it now, is a monument that was dedicated in 1836. Now we're walking across the bridge again, from the British side back to the American side. There's those kayakers. The North Bridge that we're walking on is a replica of the one that stood during the battle. And this replica was made in 1956. This is the path that you go to the Visitor Center, back up. And so it's a beautiful place to go visit. Now I'm walking up the path to the Visitor Center. I'm going to happen upon a nice family. That's mine. And Ralph Waldo Emerson wrote a poem in 1837 saying, "By the rude bridge that arched the flood, their flag to April's breeze unfurled. Here once the embattled farmers stood, and fired the shot heard around the world.